Today's going to be a big show. Welcome, everybody, to the best betting show ever. I'm Lawrence Presman. It's Friday. Art DeCesar is with us. He has a ton of bettable information on both NBA games tonight, some of the NBA games on Saturday, some of the NHL games, some of the NHL series, maybe an NBA series. Plus, don't forget baseball. Joe Ranieri also. Don't forget him. Handsome man, Joe Ranieri. I got in trouble yesterday for calling Art old. No, I called him elegant.
That's correct.
How are you, Art?
Art, do you have your monocle?
Good.
Do you have your monocle ready? Are you ready to while you do this read?
I think Amazon's dropping it off today.
Okay, very good. Very good.
So when I leave work today and go home, it should be at my front door, I would think.
Okay, good.
How did you do last night, though? What the books get in trouble with? Anything?
No, we did well. Baseball was really good for us last night. Obviously, there was no NBA. The NHL, the betting was sparse because, there just wasn't much. Obviously, a couple of games mattered, but it was just tough to bet the NHL, as we've talked about for these last couple of days. But no, it was a positive day.
Oof. Yeah. Guys, I hope you bet that Edmonton play. I know it was juicy, minus 190 in reg. I predicted 5-1. It was 6-1. So, sorry I didn't get the right score. Art, let's get into it. Let's start with the NBA. We got two play-in games today. Really very little line moves in each. Charlotte's still holding at minus 3.5. The total is the same, 218.5. Phoenix, there is movement there. We now have a minus 3.5. Total has gone up to 220. Where are we at with these games?
Yeah, we'll start with that first one. You're right, Prez. The Hornets game, really no movement. Pretty good two-way action, actually. We got betting on both sides. Total is barely budged. I think we've moved it half a point up and then half a point down. Just kind of have played with it a little bit. And there just hasn't been much betting on that total. The Warrior game is the one, as we talked about yesterday. They're laying 3 with the Suns. They're taking 135 with the Warriors on the money line. That's how they're going to bet the Warriors. I think the public eventually will do that as well. They're going to come in and take more Warriors money line. I could see that. I also think, because I've seen it a little bit this morning, I never say tease the NBA, but they're teasing both dogs in this NBA two-teamer that they're going to do. So you see that. And then you're right. The sharp money really the only sharp bet to speak of in the NBA for tonight is the over in that Warriors game. Over 218.5, now 220. They hit the first half total as well, 106, now 107. So both of those are sharp moves.
Interesting. Expecting points in those games. And usually we think unders, but so far the overs at 3-1. In the play-in there, and we are starting to see the overs move, but I find it fascinating with Charlotte and Orlando that we're not getting a lot one way or the other to this particular point, Art, especially since, Charlotte destroyed them this year, 3 out of the 4 games. So I find it fascinating that we're not seeing any more Charlotte, or at least some over money, because one of these teams loves to shoot the 3 at least.
Yeah, it's a great point. And, I thought the way the Magic looked in that Sixers game that people would be excited to fade them. But obviously, you're asking a lot of a young Hornets team to go lay points on the road.
Right.
So, maybe that's part of it. I'm with you. I think that over. And, I know we tend to think that the trends in these playoff games are to the under. But the way the Hornets like to get up and down, they're not trying to play a 100 to 108 type of game. They're trying to score points. So I'm with you. I think maybe even like a Hornets team total. There's some player props where you can look at the Hornets over. So I think that will come into play at some point. We just haven't seen it yet.
Art DeCesar joining us, everyone. You can follow him on Twitter at Art Dice. Art, let's stay with the NBA. We got series bets happening. We've got 4 games going tomorrow, 4 games on Sunday. Any information we need to know about any of the matchups for this upcoming weekend and potentially any series bets?
Yeah, I would say, just to reiterate what I talked about earlier in the week on the series prices, Hawks and Lakers as dogs took money. The rest of the series, really not much. That Nuggets one really hasn't moved for us. We've kind of seen betting on both sides. As I've mentioned, they like to parlay all the favorites together. So that happens a lot, or they pick 3 or 4 that they like. You saw the Spurs number go up pretty high. We're now, I think, minus 2,500, something like that. And it was like minus 1,800. So obviously the Spurs series price has gone up big time. I would say the one thing sharp wise to talk about is the Sixers Celtics. They took under 214.5 in that. So that's really the only sharp thing to talk about for any of the games, game ones for the weekend.
Yeah, 213 already at one book. Joe?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it's once we get past tonight, I think it's going to be fascinating here. The look-ahead line for OKC, Art. You want to throw a number out, no matter who wins, what the OKC line is going to be here, because it's probably going to be gross and disgusting.
11.5.
It's going to be ugly.
It is going to be ugly. I mean, listen, you look at the Sixers, Celtics. What are they? Celtics are 12.5.
Yep.
I mean, OKC's got to be in that range or higher.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
They just
Unless
have to
it's
be.
Golden State, because it'll be funny, Art, to see what the
that's a good
public
point.
does
Love.
with Golden State, right? I mean, if Steph Curry goes nuclear again here and they pull it, maybe there could be a little bit of value on OKC in that spot. But I still think that between Boston and OKC, it's going to be it's gross on so many different levels.
Well, you're right, Joe. And we talked about all year that Golden State still gets priced like they're Golden State.
Yep.
And you're right. It's the last thing people saw. And if Steph's going to score 35, 40 points in these two games and they make a run, everyone's going to go, uh-oh, here come the Warriors. And, they'll lose at 4 or 5 to OKC. But I think if it's the Suns, you're probably going to see 13.5, something like that. Yeah, you'll see something approaching that. And
I think it's going to be interesting.
So Sunday is set up for a hell of a money line parlay day. Boston, OKC.
Yep.
I'm guessing Detroit's going to be somewhere around 6.5, give or take, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They definitely would have to be in that range, of course.
Yep.
And then you got the Spurs at minus 10.5. Speaking of the Spurs and Portland, I last night watched the new Untold, the Jailblazers, Rasheed Wallace,
Jailblazers,
Damon Stoudemire, and Bonzi Wells. Damon has turned his life around. He's doing good. NCAA coach now. Rasheed Wallace is as angry as ever. I mean, that guy cannot release the anger.
Nope.
I watched that as well. And listen, weed should be legal. Let me just start there. But
of course.
I forgot how much Damon Stoudemire got caught with marijuana. I forgot I knew that they had their issues, but it was like every 3 months he was like cited for marijuana with the NBA. It was crazy. I forgot how much he got that way. That was nuts.
Yeah. First draft pick for the Raptors, I think, offhand, right?
Yeah. Rookie of the year. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas back then, our general manager. Okay, so let's get into some hockey, Art. We got a bunch of games going tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. So they've split round one up in over a 3-day period. And we have some series prices. What are you seeing or hearing out there?
Yeah, so, just to talk about, we've still seen Mammoth money at plus 160 for the series. It's now plus 145. Saw a little bit of Senators money yesterday at plus 160, now plus 150 for them on the series. And Prez, we had talked about, you remember how I had said early in the week where we took a lot of wild money for the series, and that got to as low for the Stars as minus 115. Now we saw the super buyback. So now the Stars are back to where they open at minus 125. There's some even minus 130s out there. I think eventually we will get there, or maybe even minus 135 when we get to them dropping the puck on that series. So maybe they did fake that series. That is definitely possible. It feels like they're laying all the favorites in game one. You've seen a lot of 2 and 3 team parlays for the favorites in game one. Just to update the futures, the one team, and it sucks because, they're the favorites, but the Avs we do bad on. Pretty much all the other teams we think can win the Stanley Cup, we do really well on. So if we can avoid the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup, we'll do really well in the future book. Oddly, we do really bad on the Wild to win the West, not the Avalanche, and we do bad on the Senators to win the East. So we want to avoid those two teams there as far as the future book goes.
Yeah, Art, I'm going to jump in quick, then throw it to Joe. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Tampa Bay set the record for the most W's in a regular season ever. Colorado did not break that record this year. That's how good that Tampa Bay team was. They got swept by Columbus in the first round.
Oof. Jeez. So
it's
what
I think that I'll tell you right off the bat, I think the Kings are going to be a tough out for Colorado. Now, I love Colorado, and I think that they are the number one contender for the Cup, period, end of story. But, man, this is a veteran LA Kings team that has had to deal with Edmonton year in, year out in that first round. I think there's value here on LA, and I'll tell you another thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the first game.
I hope they do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Prez, when you say value, you think value in the series at plus $4?
Yeah.
Or would you take them like plus 2.5 games, or the series to go over a certain amount? There's totally there's different ways you could bet it.
Right. So plus 2.5, yes, please. On the series, very small first game. Yeah, I think there's value there. Listen, I think Colorado is a juggernaut. But we have seen this story play out, and we've seen it play out recently. And the LA Kings are a much better team than that Columbus team was. And they are a veteran team, and they've been playing good hockey of late. I think it's a shitty matchup for Colorado, to be honest with you. I think they would have been happier playing Utah or Anaheim or frankly, just about anybody. I think the Kings match up well against the Avs. So
I mean, I don't know, Art, is there one way or the other? I mean, I think it's a coin flip in a couple of these spots. Prez and I were talking yesterday about how Tampa is totally overvalued. Who else is overvalued where we're not giving enough credit to some of these underdogs here? Or is this just feels like it's going to be so chalky, especially on the West side?
Oh, they're going to be upset.
I mean, there's always upsets, and I think Prez, we had talked about it yesterday. Yep. It feels like that could happen in the East. It feels like it wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me if two of the underdogs in the East got through. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you flat out, I wouldn't be floored if Boston got through.
Yeah. Sure.
Obviously we're all high on Buffalo, but again, we've seen the story play out.
Yeah.
This is a young team. And they lack, they can't come into this series saying, oh, we've got, lights out playoff goaltending. Well, guess who can? Boston. Swayman's already shown us that he could stand on his head and take that team to W's. Boston, Ottawa, both of those teams are live. Minnesota is live. Look, Art took money on Utah. I think you can parlay Edmonton and Vegas in a series parlay, frankly. But I don't see Utah or Anaheim winning that series.
I think Vegas is making the conference finals. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy statement. I think they're going to be in the conference finals.
Well, that means they got to beat Edmonton in the next round, and I think you're right, Art. I think they get that done. This is not the same Edmonton team as last year or the year before, and man, they got no goaltending. Baseball. What do you got going for today? Friday, moving day, not moving day.
A lot of baseball. They laid 140 with the A's, down up to 155 against the White Sox. They took under in the Dodgers game, under 9.5, which is shocking because they're playing in Colorado, but under 9.5. And they took over 7.5 in the Twins and Reds game. Reds can't seem to score, and that's against Joe Ryan, so that's really interesting. So those are your three sharp plays in Major League Baseball.
Nice. All right. And you got anything, Art? What do we got here for UFC coming up here? I know, right? Yep. And it's Scotty Scheffler is not leading in Harbortown, so that's always good too as well. Maybe somebody else can cash a ticket better than 3-1. But what are you seeing there, Art?
Yeah, a little bit of UFC. Our top UFC guy, he bet Gage Young minus
Ooh.
135. That's now up to minus 170. And Tanner Bowser, I don't know how you say his last name, but took him at plus 140, now plus 120. So our big UFC guy, those are his two plays for the UFC fight night this weekend.
Boys, how did we do on our parlay of the day? I know I can speak on behalf of me. I won my leg.
I know what I have Seattle, I think, and they suck.
Seattle.
Yeah,
we were
way to
2
go,
out of 3.
Seattle.
Seattle.
I had the Blues. I had the Blues. So 2 out of 3.
Stupid.
That was
Yeah,
close, that Blues game, though. That was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yep.
It was. It was 3-3 in the
I'll tell
third,
you,
like 9 minutes
the
left.
The crazy game was the Nashville game. Nashville showed up. They played hard. Who did they play? Anaheim. Anaheim was in
Anaheim,
basically must-win mode. I mean, lose and play Colorado. 5-4 victory right at the end there. I was very surprised about Nashville in that spot, and especially given that they were a veteran team. I thought they would just, turtle. Okay. Let's go with our parlay of the day, guys. So here's the deal. I'll start. I bet Seattle the last 2 nights in a row for my clients. So those were both client plays. They both lost. Seattle is not a client play today, so it'll win. We'll put it in our parlay. Seattle minus 130. Gilbert versus DeGrom.
Oof.
I love it. I know the Angels have to come back from the East Coast, but I can't believe the Padres are just going to keep winning here, and they got to go against Soriano. So give me the Angels minus 130.
Phoenix. It's got to be Phoenix. I mean, if you can't win 1 out of 2 home games in a play-in spot, I don't know what to tell you here, Phoenix. It's tough to win 2 games on the road.
They
in the
had
play-in.
that last game. They had. I mean, Jesus Christ! They had that last game.
I think Booker is poised to have I think they'll show up here tonight. I think they'll handle business and then get destroyed by OKC. But at this price, absolutely worth backing Phoenix, I think.
There we go. Art to Caesar, everyone. Art, thanks for doing this, man. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend, and you guys can see Art at the Westgate. He'll be there all weekend. Yep. Joe Ranieri, lots of shows still to come. We got our predictive markets and all of the rundowns. We'll end the show with the mailbag section. Let's get to it. Joe, we've spoke about this all week. I got a 5% play up in the NBA for tomorrow's card. This is a huge bet, guys. It's only my 3rd NBA 5% play of the entire season. Yes, I'm 2-0 coming in. But I also have a 3% NBA play up for tonight's play-in games. I have cashed both play-in game nights so far, and we've spoken about my NBA 62+%, 94 and 57 in 3 years of NBA playoff betting. I don't know how you can get much better than that. I guess you can. You can make it like 100 to 50, but hey, it's still impressive nevertheless. I am making a shit ton of money in the NBA, and my NHL now, guys, super hot. Won again last night on an 8-1 and 15-0 run going into tomorrow. I have 1 NHL play up for tomorrow, and of course baseball. But my baseball mediocre right now. I really struggled. The San Diego Padres killed me this week. Joe, what do you got going?
Yeah, Padres. Well, that's about to come to an end here. We've got Prez. We got a game tonight in the NBA. We also have a game this weekend that happens to be a 5% play as well. So you guys can check that out over at WagerTalk.com. I just put up one. I've got one more Major League Baseball top play coming your way here for tonight. Both of these games, I would hurry and jump in, grab these numbers while you can, because something tells me closer we get to the first pitch, the less these numbers are going to be. So hop on board over there at WagerTalk.com. And go grab Prez's 5%, go grab my 5%, and
Yeah.
let's make it a hell of a start to the NBA postseason here, Prez.
You got it, my brother. Let's kick some butt. Okay, so predictive markets, we're going on the under in Bitcoin. Put up the number, let's figure out which.
All
well,
right.
I'll tell you why, Joe. We've seen a massive run. I mean, just a monster run. Right now, it is 77.8.
Correct.
This run has already baked in the fact that the Strait of Hormuz, I can't believe we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, but
the Hormuzi? Yes.
The hummus with tahina has already been built in to this line, Joe. This move has taken into account the shawarma has been opened.
Yes.
And we're going to falafel this down a little bit, bro.
Well, what do you think?
Well, let's go up to the top. It's not going to be 69.
Well, I'm looking here, Prez, but I don't see any numbers at all, period, here. So we're at 77.8. I think is it off the board?
I guess so. Okay, I say under 77.
Wow.
Whatever it is, if there's good value. It's got to be around 65 cents coming our way.
It's got to be, right? Wow,
yeah.
Look at that.
But I guess with no numbers, we move on. What else you want to talk about?
Well, you covered pretty much what was going on there in the NHL. We'll talk about more of those games coming up.
Yeah,
but currently, I can tell you, I believe the RBC, which is currently underway, and Scotty Scheffler only at 12 cents now. I think he closed at around 30. He's at 12 cents right now to win it. But the guy that I like, Fitzpatrick, is also up at the top of the board. Aberg was your first round leader, but Fitzpatrick already at 10 under par. I would take a shot here with Victor Hovland. I think Victor Hovland has got pretty good value sitting at around 9 cents right now. He's only 3 shots off the lead, and he loves this golf course here. So I'd jump in on Victor Hovland, because if he heads into tomorrow, Prez, within a stroke of the lead here, I think you're already going to get way more than the 9 cents that you can get in it now.
Listen, the problem with Victor is he does his best work on Thursdays.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday's useless. So
Yeah.
That's why I want to get in now
Right.
and then take advantage and get the hell out before they go to the final round. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Great way to look
brother.
at it.
NBA rundown. You got 2 today, 4 tomorrow. Let's hear it.
All right, so here we go, Prez. Let us talk a little bit here about these games coming up tonight. And the reality is, listen, I think even though the overs are 3-1 here in the play-in games, which has been impressive here, the only under, of course, was with Orlando, who couldn't even score 100 points in that game there, last game against the Sixers, even though they did not have Joel Embiid there. But I think the reality is, with the threes that are going to be raining from Charlotte, and we all know they love to shoot some threes here, and we've seen them play Orlando 4 times this year, and they lost those games by an average of 11 points. But more importantly, Orlando doesn't play the same kind of defense everyone thinks they do, Prez. I think this is an absolute over. When push comes to shove, they are going to do whatever they have to do to try to win this game, Orlando. So I need them to make a few more threes than they did against the Sixers, which I think they made 4 or 5 total. I think they can do better at home. I like the over in this spot here. And also, you heard Art tell you already the money's starting to come in tonight here on the over. But I would think I might go contrarian here, because I do like Phoenix to win this game, I told you guys. And if Phoenix wins it, Phoenix is going to want to win it by slowing the tempo down, playing defense, and not allowing Steph Curry to go nuclear and look for somebody else to beat them. I just don't know that we're going to get 221 points. I don't think there's a rush in betting it, because I do believe the public was all over Steph Curry and the Warriors already. They're going to push this total up, Prez, but I'm going to be looking to grab the best number I can, and I am going to be looking to play the under tonight in this game.
Right.
If Phoenix wins, It's because they locked this team down and play some defense tonight.
Joe Ranieri, I will say this. If Golden State is down by a lot going into the fourth, I would look to take them in game.
That's the only way I bet Warrior games is live. The only way I'd do it. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, brother, NHL rundown. Let's go through some series bets. We're going to take each one apart. Just to let you guys know, Carmine Bianco and I will be doing a deep dive into the NHL series. We're taping right after the show. It should be up on WagerTalk TV later Friday afternoon, so make sure to check that out. Let's get to it. Dallas is minus 120 against Minnesota. These lines I'm giving you are found. I don't want to mention any names here, but it rhymes with schmings. Schmings. It's Claft Schmings. It rhymes with that. Okay. Dallas minus 120 to win the series. Look, I like Minnesota here. I think this series goes 7, so I would bet it to go 7. But I think the value is on Dallas. It's a short line at minus 120 for a team that perennially is in the spot and a team that has shown us year after year that they could get through the first round. Minnesota's an up-and-coming team for sure. But I think Dallas is just, this line is short, man. I feel like Dallas should be around minus 140, 145. Value on the Stars. Edmonton playing Anaheim. I think this is going to be a blowout series here, Joe. I think you should be looking to take Edmonton minus 1.5 games at minus 105. That means they win in 6. That's 4-2. They cover minus 1.5. I think Edmonton wins in 5 or 6. I think they really put the smack down on Anaheim. Anaheim is not a good team, one of the worst teams in the playoffs this year. Now we go to Colorado and the Kings. I think there's forget the clock, Joe. I'm going on here. Small amount of value on the Kings, brother. I can't get to it. I can't bet Colorado. I'm gonna move on from this game. With that said, the Kings plus 2.5 minus 140. I think the Kings are gonna win a couple of games here. I think the Kings are gonna do better than most people think. Ottawa plus 145 against Carolina, and throw a small amount on Ottawa minus 1.5. There's a lot of value in that bet. I'm not a fan of this Carolina team. Ottawa minus 1.5 plus 250. Now we turn our attention to Pittsburgh and Philly. Pittsburgh minus 170. I think you take Pittsburgh minus 1.5 here as well. I think Pittsburgh wins in 6. I love the Knights at minus 190 here, Joe. Love them. I like Montreal at plus 205. And the Sabres and Bruins is going to be an outright pass for me. I think there's value on the Bruins. I just don't think there's enough value. I'd like that to have been 20 cents higher at around minus 165. So I'm going to pass, but I will say this. Whoever wins the first game in that series, I'm likely going to look to come back and bet the other side in the next game. Joe, that's it for the NHL rundown. I'm excited about the playoffs tomorrow. I got one play up for my clients. Let's get to some baseball.
All right, we got plenty of it coming up here, Prez, today. Early afternoon game with the Mets and the Cubs. And listen, the Mets might need 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing to left field at Wrigley in the afternoon in order to score any runs because they suck. The problem is, so does Senga. And I don't trust him at all to keep the ball in the ballpark. Cabrera's been really good. I like the Cubs in the first 5 in that game there. You've got the Orioles and the Guardians. Bassett against Bybee. Neither team can hit right-handers. It feels like an under, although both have phone numbers for ERAs right now. Tanner Bybee much better at home, though. Always has been. I'm going to go ahead and back the Guardians there. I think we get an over with the Phillies and the Braves. Taijuan Walker there and Perez at 106 years old. Yeah, I think the bats come alive. It's 9.5. I still think double digits in runs there. Logan Webb on a mound for the Giants, taking on Zach Lytle for the Nats. The market loves the Giants, but boy, I'm not laying $155, $160 with them. I do think the Nats Maybe getting a run and a half might not be a bad look there. The Rays and the Pirates. Pirates, I don't know who they're going to throw here. The bottom line is that bullpen is absolutely smoked right now here. I like the Rays to get it done. I think the Yankees bounce back against the Royals. The Red Sox with Ranger Suarez should handle business at Fenway against the Tigers. The Brewers and Marlins. I'm going to back the Marlins in this one. I'm also going to back the Twins to get it done with Joe Ryan. I like the Astros to get it done. I also like, well, I don't know what I like anymore against the Padres, but I'm still taking the Angels there. And I am also taking the Dodgers, the White Sox, yes, you heard it here, and the Mariners, once again, to get it done at home, Press.
There we go. Joe, let's get to our mailbag section. Thomas Fettel, one of our best listeners, a guy we're a big fan of. The bottom line is that yesterday we got the show up after two of Art's plays had already gone off. He wanted to know if there was a way to watch the show live. The answer is no, I'm sorry. But I will tell you, yesterday was we did get the show up late, but it's not normally that late, Joe.
Yesterday? What games, I'm wondering, did Art give that? Maybe it was a baseball game or two.
Yeah, it was two baseball games. They started before the show went onto YouTube.
Oh, wow.
But yesterday was later than normal. The show is normally up much earlier than that. And Thomas, those things are a rarity. So my apologies. There's nothing we can do.
Now,
Ross,
the question is, was Art right? Did we save you money? Or did we? Yeah, that's the question.
He was right. He went 3-0.
Okay, there you go.
He went 3-0 in his sharp baseball plays.
The only reason he posted a comment. Yeah, the only reason.
Yeah.
Love it, Thomas.
18-10 to date. Ross Kirkeran says, bye-bye, Curry. Hello, Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Robley, Vegas played weak opponents since Torts took over. The only team they played with a winning record was the Oilers. Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with you. No. With that said, you play who's in front of you. And I think Vegas is set up for a run. So, Terry, you and I will disagree there. Eric Baum thinks wife beaters are going to make a comeback. He's talking about those muscle shirts, for the record.
I remember that. Yes.
I don't think they ever went away, Joe. I mean, I know an American thing. You guys really like to show off your muscles, but I don't think that actually went away.
Yeah. Basically a tank top, but yeah.
And Prez, you should absolutely buy a few fedoras. You're a veritable modern day Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey is not spelt with an F.
Don't care.
Firstly,
they came up with Humphrey.
What do you think, dude? Like, should I maybe I should just wear like fedoras every show I do?
A fedora and a wife beater. You have to show up next week. Got to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even own a fedora, but I do own a wife beater. I do own a wife beater.
Yeah, that's what they make Amazon for.
I wear it with my Speedo. That's the show, everyone.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's hope, hope we do better than that visual.
Please bet my 5% in NBA tomorrow. Please, 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 please.
Yes,
For those of you who stayed to the end, use the promo code EDGE15. EDGE15. You get $15 off of that 5% play. Okay.
Boom.
Be well, everyone. We'll see you Monday. Thanks.